Hello, friends. My name is Janine Deanna, and if you are watching this video, chances are you have downloaded my weekly planner and you're looking for a little bit of a deeper dive into how to specifically use each of these pages to the best of your ability. If for some reason you're on this video and you do not have the planner in your hands, I urge you to jump on over to my Instagram page at Janine Deanna, and the link in the bio will take you to a list where you can find the free planner there. Go ahead, enter your email address, download it, and then come back to this video, just like I said, so that we can take a little bit deeper dive into specifically how to use these pages so you're getting the most out of your effort put into this. So what I want to do today is give you, like I said, hopefully a pretty good bite-sized overview of this planner, which was specifically made with female entrepreneurs in mind because we are always doing all the things. And one of the most effective ways that we're able to show up better in our life is by preparing and planning ahead. Hence why I created this weekly planner. Three of the top reasons why it is so important to plan our weeks, first and foremost, is because when we plan ahead, we're able to get so much more done. So planning our week out in advance really helps us to prioritize our tasks and avoid getting distracted by all the noise and all the unimportant things that are important to other people, but maybe not necessarily important to us when it comes to staying focused and really connected to the goals that we're trying to reach. But by focusing on our important tasks and being really clear about them and implementing them throughout the week, that's when we're able to get more done in less time because we're really clear and we're really focused, which means then we have more time for the things like self-care, spending time with our friends and family, and ultimately having fun and living the life outside of work. So the second reason is because planning ahead helps us take control of our time. When we're as busy as we are as entrepreneurs, when we're faced with all the things that we've got going on, time is our most precious resource. So by planning our week ahead, we can make sure that we're using our time the most effectively possible. And we're really being intentional about it. We're really holding space to sit down and say, here's what I want to do, when I want to do it, in a way that's really going to help leverage us getting closer to those goals a lot faster. And also, which is very important to me, enjoying the journey as we're working towards those goals. So this means that we can schedule in time for work, self-care, fun activities, all the things that we want to put in, all the things. It's not just about work. When we are taking control of our time, we're able to tell our time what to do. And we all know that if we don't tell our time what to do, somebody or something else will. So this is when we take control and we actually plan not just all the important work to do's, but we're also planning the fun, the connection with family, connection with self, all those good things. Thirdly, this is the way that we achieve our goals a lot faster, because setting goals is one thing, but actually achieving them is a totally other thing, But by breaking down those big, larger goals into smaller, actionable tasks, we're able to make progress towards our goals every single week. Every single week, as we break those down and work towards them, we're incrementally getting closer and closer. And this also, when you get those little wins, it helps keep us more motivated to keep going and focusing on what matters. So if you want to stay more organized and feel more on top of time, like you're really using it in a way that you're proud of, weekly planning, I know I'm biased because I love a good plan. Weekly planning is the way to go. And I will say this, it might feel a little bit overwhelming at the beginning, but it's like learning a new language, the language of how each of us individually needs to plan in order to be the most effective. And it is individual. Just because I'm going to give you this planner and give you a little bit of depth into how to use each of these pages, I deeply, deeply encourage you to use this in a way that feels best for you. So use the pages you love, get rid of the pages that you don't love. Don't feel like you have to follow somebody else's system. You should always be willing to make it your own, to figure out where things fit for you. And if you're struggling to show up and do things, ask yourself, is there a better way, kind of more aligned to me, to my goals, to my priorities, to my values, that could work better for me? So take what works and let go of the rest, and give yourself grace. to kind of start implementing a new way of pre-planning. If planning your week is new to you, give yourself that grace to just learn it week by week. And like I said, and eventually build up that unique to you system that's repeatable in a way that feels really good. I feel like I could blab about this forever. I want to move through these pages. So here we just have the cover page. And really quick, these first two pages here. So you've got the word of the year here. This page and the monthly goal overview are both part of this weekly planner as bridges that are built back to goals that we set earlier in the year or earlier in the month. This really allows us to stay connected to these things. If you plan a word of the year, yet never, ever come back to how you're honoring this word, how you're adding it to your monthly, weekly, daily life, what's the purpose of doing it? So to me, it was really important that at the beginning of each week, I'm reconnecting back to my word of the year, why it matters to me, and how I'm actually implementing it into my weekly activity. So that's what this word of the year page is. And then really quick, we jump into the monthly goal overview. So again, if the words self-care, relationships, and business don't connect you, don't worry about those words. Just go back to at the beginning of the month, what were those things that you said that were important to you? What are those things that we're actively breaking down from week to week to make progress on? So writing those in there. And again, this is just building a bridge back, connecting back to those things that we decided this is what we're going to focus on. And because life is so noisy, because so much comes in on a regular basis, doing activities like this, actively engaging and coming back to these goals that we set is the way that we make progress on them and stay focused and kind of eliminate a lot of noise and a lot of overwhelm. So moving along, this is one of my favorite pages because this is just a space. I just do bullet points with my weekly dumps because I go through and I highlight it after, which I will explain. But this is where I just get everything out of the abyss of my mind. There's so much going on up here that I want to be able to just dump everything on this page. Sometimes I use both sides of the page, just depending where I'm at. If I'm carrying things over from last week into this week, they're going to get dumped on this page. And basically, this page is a space for me to, like I said, get everything out of my head, get it onto a page, and then see it staring back at me. It really helps me lineate the things that are of importance to me for the coming 7 days. So this is where I go in and I do this massive brain dump. And what I actually do once I have filled this whole page out is I then take a highlighter and I'll go in, and sometimes I do everything yellow is personal, everything pink is business. Sometimes I divide this page into two separate sides, a business side and a personal side, and I'll categorize things just a little bit more segregated so I can make more sense of them. Either way, I'm breaking them down a little bit into triaging what's important for the next 7 days. Sometimes there's things that end up on this page that I just think, I don't have time capacity to do this week. So this is just getting moved to next week, which I'll highlight it green then. And that means next week I'm going to come back to this. And for this week, I'm just focusing on the top things that I have deemed need to get done by the end of this week that I have the capacity to do. Page 5 here, we have the weekly habit tracker. This is the measure what matters page. Measure what matters. So the idea with, for me, the habit tracker was I wanted to write things in here on repeat as many weeks over and over and over again until I no longer needed to write it in here for it to be part of my routine, part of what I do, just without having to think about it. So if it's in here and I'm tracking it and I'm, quote, measuring what matters, it's because it hasn't quite become a full habit yet, like an automatic thing for me. I still have to exert the energy to track it, to make sure I'm positioning it throughout the day in a place that I'm actually getting it done. So this is kind of that reminder. And I actually will pull this page out and keep it beside my bed at night so that I just at the end of the day can kind of go through and say, yep, here's the things I did do. Here's the things I didn't. This is a really cool tool. It takes dedication, but it's a very cool tool to help you get really real with yourself really quick about what you're actually following through with. Sometimes, and I've seen this multiple times with coaching, is we tend to lie to ourselves or inflate the truth in our favor to really make us feel good about the progress that we're making on things. And I understand sometimes we just need that little boost of self-confidence. But when we're coming back to being really honest with ourselves and saying, but I'm not actually drinking as much water as I think I am. I'm not actually reading as much as I think I am. I'm not actually meditating or getting out into nature or moving my body or eating certain foods or whatever it is that you're tracking. This is an honesty tracker because it really does keep you honest with what you are actually doing. So whether you do check marks or X's, it's really cool to look at the end of the week and be able to say, what did I actually do? Not what did I think I did? What did I actually do? So that's the habit tracker. And then in here, we have the weekly posting planner. So this is just a place where you can come in and do a little bit of a brain dump or organizing around social media content, where you're posting, what you're posting. Pretty self-explanatory there. And then just a little area at the bottom there. If you come up with an idea that doesn't work for this week, but you want to save it for next week, this little strip here, notes for next week, is where I always check back to come back and see if there's ideas from this week that I want to carry over into the coming week. So the weekly planner page is probably my favorite page of all. This sticks on the side of my computer all week. And what I do with this is I obviously put the month up there and I go through each day and write down any of the things that are already planned for the week. Any appointments, places we have to go, things that the kids have going on, anything like that. So I just start filling this in. And one of my favorite things to do at the bottom here is the main focus this week, because this really helps me anytime that the noise comes in or things start to get overwhelming with other people's stuff that comes in, or just life, when life just happens. The main focus of the week is, that's where I come back to. If this is done at the bare minimum, if I get what's done in this box, then I'm feeling like this week wasn't a waste. It was still successful if I was able to make progress of whatever is sitting in that box. So that box is a super important part of my week. So I'm very intentional about what I put in there. And then very intentional about wondering at the end of the week, coming back and reviewing if I was able to make progress on that. So this, for me, is what I call time capacity planning. So I will look at this sheet as a whole, and I can, really quick look at days where I've kind of got gaps, or I can fill things in, or certain days it feels like a heavy front load of the week and the weekend is light. Whatever it is, this gives me a really good synopsis, or just like an overall view of kind of what my week looks like. This specific weekly planner page builds a lot of confidence in me about showing up well for my week, because it just is like, I can look ahead and see things that are coming for the weekend and start planning ahead on Monday so that it's done by Thursday, so that the weekend is free, etc., etc. I actually can't believe what a difference filling out this sheet every Sunday has done for my life. So if there's one sheet that you do in this, I would highly encourage the weekly planner sheet. So from the weekly planner sheet, it then breaks down into page 8 all the way through page 14. These are all just your daily planner pages. So if that weekly page, from this view, you can then start breaking it down into each day individually. So the date up there, a specific intention that you want to set for the day. Again, this is really cool to help maintain that focus throughout the whole day. There's a little water tracker under there. Again, today's appointments. This is really, really helpful to not miss any appointments and make sure that you're, you know what time they are and you're on top of those. The work to-dos and the personal to-dos are very specifically only four options. I even debated bringing it down to 3, because to be honest, we always tend to overcommit to things that we're able to do. And then life or things happen, and if we can't get it done, we feel like we failed. So I'm not saying the less we can focus on, the better, but I am saying sometimes it's okay to minimize the amount of things that we expect of ourselves on a daily basis when it comes to being productive and having to output all the time. So this is when I go back to my weekly brain dump here. I'm going to take the most important things off this page, and I'm going to be adding them into the work to-dos or the personal to-dos. These two little boxes at the bottom here, actually the whole bottom of this page, I love. This prep for tomorrow box has saved me so many times. When it comes to being prepared the next day, whether it's the kids' jerseys need to be washed, or my camera cards need to be swiped clean, or batteries charged, or I need to pick up a gift for something. This little prep for tomorrow box has been, like I said, a lifesaver in helping me really just take a beat and think about tomorrow and say, just like, if there was one thing I could do to set myself up for success for tomorrow, what would it be? So I absolutely love that little box. And then the most important thing to do today, that is my, if again, just like when I look back at the weekly planner, my main focus this week, when I look at the daily pages, most important thing for today, that's just acknowledging or giving a voice to the most important thing that I really want to make sure gets done. So just drawing attention and being very intentional about that has, again, helped me feel really successful at the end of the day, because it's like, if I got nothing else done, the most important thing did get done. That feels like success. And then these bite-sized daily reviews, these are just literally why there's tiny little space in there, is because it's just like one or two words, maybe one sentence. And all it is just taking a beat. I do this at about 3:00 every day. So I want to end my workday around 3:00. Usually the kids are picked up or show up between 3:15 and 3:20. So I'm just taking time to review my day, answer these couple questions, and this helps me set up for tomorrow. So what I'll actually do at the end of each day is answer these questions. And then on the next day, I will go and fill out as much as I can for tomorrow. And then I'll wake up in the morning and fill out the rest, or add as I go, as the day goes. And then for the weekend, I did include these, super high detailed pages for the days. But if on your weekends you're like, I don't require that much, I don't you might want to not want to even do weekend planning. That's totally cool. But I did put a weekend planner in there, because say it's just something like, I want to clean out the garage, take out the recycling, and go for coffee with my friend. Just having somewhere to write it down, it encourages you to take more specific action with it. So that's why also there's those top priorities at the top there, where it's just, again, being intentional about something you want to bring to fruition that day. Maybe it's just relax. Maybe you're just writing relax, and you color a little picture in there, and it's literally, that's all it is I just want to chill. So this is a little bit of a more relaxed weekend planner. And then to wrap it up, the thing that I love the most, and I will say this, kind of pulling out from the planner and thinking of my business and my life as a whole, choosing to review is one of the most powerful tools that you can add in your life, in your business, because when we don't know how much we've grown, sometimes we miss the opportunity to really feel like we can celebrate and be motivated to keep going. And so reviewing is a really, really cool way to be able to look back at all the work that we did do. How far did that get us? Going through, so back to this page, going through these pages, asking these questions at the end of the week. What was my biggest accomplishment this week? From the things that didn't go as planned, what lesson did I learn? This doesn't have to be super deep either. This can be, like I said, just a couple words here and there, but it's just holding space to review, holding space to look at, how did this week go, and not just basing it on how you happen to feel the day that you're filling this out, but really holding space to go back and intentionally look and say, I actually feel really good about how much it didn't go perfect. Rarely will it ever go perfect, but if you're able to look back and see your own progress, that's super motivating. And this sheet, why I also love it too, is this is what helps set me up for more success in the week to come. So taking time to go back through that is super, super helpful. I'm just going to read over my notes really quick to make sure that I've got everything covered. And yeah, I think at the end here, I've got all my notes covered. So I feel good about that. A couple additional pages to just brain dump, journal, whatever kind of comes up. If there's stuff in here that you want to write to be focusing on next week, you can do that here as well. So I hope that this is helpful. I feel like I just threw threw all this out at you, and it was still almost 20 minutes. Nonetheless, I hope that this was helpful. If you guys have any questions, you can always DM me over at Janine Deanna on Instagram. And if there's any further help I can be to you, please reach out and let me know. There is so much goodness that can come from choosing to just hold space to sit down and plan your week in advance to help eliminate some of the overwhelm and stress that does not have to be there if we're just intentional about how we use our time. So thanks for being here and have an amazing rest of your day.